gonna go ahead and start.
I have
So we're gonna start 1 and 3. Woo!
Yeah, I have a question about it.
We'll go over it, I'm sure. If we don't, then you can ask me on the side. So let's do 1. So 1 was log base 3 of 7. Thank you. And then what's the bottom? Okay. God, Quentin. I don't think I will ever get over that one. Okay, so guys up here, Quentin, stop telling stories. Your stories are not anything anyone needs to hear.
Hey, he's doing the can thing, that's all I said.
I'm kidding. Okay, so what's the first thing that I have to do here? I said I'm kidding.
Quotient property.
My eyebrows
Good.
twitching.
Log base 3 of everything on top with quotient property. Shh, Quentin. Shh. So it's gonna be 7kc to the 4th minus log base 3 of the bottom. Shh, Quentin. Shh, stop.
It's twitching,
She's not here today.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no, you're fine. You can answer. Okay, what's the next thing I have to do now?
When you have to
Power's last. We do have to do power, but not next. There we go. Product property. So we will do power third and last. We're now going to say that there's multiplication between that term and between that term. So I have to split this up between log base 3 of my 7. Multiplication turns into addition. Log base 3 of k. Multiplication again turns into addition. Log base
Plus.
3 of, of c to the 4th minus now log base 3 n to the 6th.
Can you make that any shorter? Can I just do like?
No, you have to do the whole thing.
Oh, I know.
So,
No, I'm
Whole
saying-
thing.
I'm saying.
Yes, Aiden.
I'm so confused because I had the second thing you written down. So like, do I have to write in the first thing? So like,
This
they're all
one?
together? Because that confuses me.
So it's, if you jump to this and you got it correct, that's okay. If you can do it all at once, that's okay. I like to break it down in steps so you can see this is a step you got it wrong, this is a step you got it wrong, that's okay. Taylor.
That's basically what I was thinking, and then the next step, doing the third step and then the second.
Yeah.
fourth.
If you can get to that, I'm fine with that. Just keep in mind, if you make a mistake, I won't be able to tell where you made that mistake. Quentin.
Can I make a little key? Like,
No, you cannot make a key. You cannot
log
make a key.
means big
Quentin, you
L.
cannot make a key. Okay, so there's one thing that I'm gonna add in here. I'm going to add in parentheses. Okay, I want it to be very clear that all of these things are multiplied together and then divided by this number. If we were to go back and condense this, we would say multiplied, and possibly only divide this term by that. We want to take all of this multiplied first to then be divided by that number. We want to think, what would we look at this if we were going backwards? So now, last thing. Yes, power property. So we have 4 that needs to go out in front and a 6 that needs to go out in front. If you're like, I'm not rewriting that, I'm just gonna add and make some room to put it out there, that's okay too. I'm gonna rewrite it for you for your very final last answer.
That's a log.
But this is why I only gave you 4 total problems.
That's really long.
Is
That's really fun.
Yeah, go ahead.
oh, never mind.
Okay, so for the sake of time, I want to move on to showing you how to condense something, and then if we still want to go over number 3, we can.
Would that be in the notes?
Yeah, go ahead and add these into your notes from 4.5. So again, this was number 1. We can go over number 3 in the end if we have time, or tomorrow. But I want to ensure that we have enough time to get through condensing. So think about your number one. You started with something super small and you made this big, long function. We're gonna go the opposite way, and we're gonna start with the big, long function and condense it down. So let's do,
Nice job, Lane.
I will do one like this. So
Have it. You ever recycle it?
no, we don't recycle.
Oh,
Yeah, we lost it this year.
Save the earth.
So let's do natural log of x plus 3 natural log z minus natural log of y plus 5 natural log, can you still see? There you go. Natural log, k, why not k?
I can't do it.
Sit down.
I am
So,
sitting down.
shh, Quentin, you need to knock it off.
I'm sitting down.
Quentin, stop. So we have now this big long function. So the one thing with number 3 that might have like thrown you off a little bit was that it had this natural log instead. So when we have natural log, let's always keep in mind that it truly equals log base e. So always have that in your mind, like it's just a different way of saying these logs. So the base is already built in. So every time you only have to write that ln. There's no base, it's just ln. So think about the last thing that we just did with expanding. That was exponents, right? We save exponents for last when we expand. That means we're gonna deal with exponents first when we condense. So exponents in this form are gonna be a number out in front.
How can you just put like the exponent up front? Because if you're like multiplying it all by 3, it's not the same as like taking it to the power.
Exactly. It's a specific property just for logs. So this could not be true if it was like x squared.
Okay.
You couldn't do 2x. That's a great question. It only is true for logs. So what do I have to do with this 3? It's gonna go up to my exponent, right? And this 5 up to my exponent. So now we have natural log of x plus natural log of z cubed minus natural log of y plus natural log of k to the 5th. Okay, exact opposite order. Exponents first. What's the second thing we did in expanding? Yeah, good, it's the product property. So now we're going to take our addition and turn it into multiplication. So every time we expanded, we added on a log or a natural log. So think about when we condense, we have to start taking them away. The end goal is to get down to 1 natural log. So in here, this specific set of parentheses, how many natural logs should I have after condensing? Just 1. It doesn't really matter which one you cancel out, but knowing that we're going to change this addition into multiplication, I'm now multiplying x and z cubed. I'm taking the natural log of that entire product. Okay, does that make sense? Are you good with that? And now this is subtracted from this next parenthesis. So again, this addition turned to multiplication. So I'm now taking just the natural log of y times k to the 5th. So these are super spread out, but it's a whole minus sign in between them. So you're kind of understanding how we're going from 2 to 1 natural log and from 2 to 1 natural log.
So we're having a test over this, right? Like if that's.
Yeah. It'll be Wednesday next week.
If I fail this, how much will it drop my grade? Like how many percent?
I don't know. It all depends on how bad, but you're not gonna fail it, so it doesn't matter. But it all depends on how bad, like a fail could be 1%, it could be
You think I'm gonna fail it?
64%.
Let's do.
No one's gonna fail it.
You need to be honest. You need to be
So-
honest.
We're gonna get down to 1 natural log here. And it's literally gonna happen in the next step. So what happens with subtraction is this is now going to turn into division. Specifically in the form of a fraction, right? We do like fractional division here. So it was everything that came first was in your numerator, right? This is in your top. I'll do an arrow instead because maybe top makes it seem better. And then this came second, so it was in your, good, it's in your bottom there. So I'm gonna do this with blue instead. So we're taking natural log of our top divided by our bottom. How do you know you're done? Do you have any numbers out in front? Do you have any addition? Do you have any subtraction? That's how you know you're done. So you think the opposite way. Before we'd say, do we have multiplication, exponents, or division? No, then you're done with expanding. Condensing, if you have addition, subtraction, or numbers out in front, you're not done yet. So are we done?
No.
Yay! We are. So we can do one of two things. I can show you another example and we try together, or you can try the examples on your worksheet, which will become homework. Would you rather try the ones on your homework? I can still go over it. I'll still go over it if you need me to. Why don't we, let me look at two of these. Why don't you do number 4 next? A little out of order, but I think number 4 is a little bit easier, that I want you to try that one first. And then we can go over it. So I want you to take 5 minutes to go try number 4 on that worksheet. Then we can go over it. I'm gonna leave this problem up on the board for you. So if you're someone watching the video of this post after class, you can kind of fast forward about 5 minutes. So what did we do first? Any numbers out in front need to go up to an exponent. So that one first. You guys can work together. This might be toys. Right, so the same process, just like it's easier to follow. So what's the first one we did? Good, then not the bottom. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Okay, so then.
Yeah,
Oh, that's what you did. I didn't know what that 2 was. It's like that looks what I have.
So there's a 2 and then you go one time.
And that was.
Why are they showing the part of like
Yes, because
Alright.
Interesting.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, thanks.
All right, take maybe one more minute to wrap this up. Most of you look like you're getting really close.
Condensed means simplified, correct?
Yeah, basically it just means whoop, make big thing small, not small thing big. that actually does bring up a good point, and just knowing the difference between what expanding and condensing does mean. All right.
Whose brother has a podcast? I don't know.
Well, it says people who are there, so going there, but like.
Well-
I think it was Ethan George that drew that. Oops, I took it on the chair. But that doesn't sound like. Actually, that's like the third time he's drawn that too, because he drew it over here and then erased it. But that's like yeah, that was Ethan George that drew it. I don't know. I didn't know that any of his, I thought all of his brothers were younger than him.
He was my older one.
Oh, and maybe that was it. I can't imagine any of his younger brothers having a podcast.
What's what's the point of a podcast?
Oh, people just talk about stuff.
Yeah.
and you just-
It's like having your own radio show, except no one's listening at the time.
I watched.
And
I
maybe
love that.
maybe nobody listens after, you never know.
So
But
it's
like,
almost like a recording of
Yeah.
the radio.
yeah.
Yeah,
Michael Key.
but like sometimes there's multiple people in it.
Yeah.
So then you listen to them talking.
So it's just a recorded radio talk.
Yes,
Yes.
basically.
I listened to the Dance Moms one.
Oh, there was one, I try to listen to like,
It's not like always on.
because they're over like specific topics for the most part. Like there's like educational ones, there's like comedians, there's all sorts
Yeah.
of stuff. People that like dissect celebrity drama.
There's
I would
like
never
some
listen to
about
that.
criminals.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, there's like almost like TV show like ones. That's fun. Okay, what's the first thing you did?
I
I
take
have.
the two and put it in next.
Yeah, we take this two and we throw it up as an exponent. So if this is something you hate doing in multi-steps, that's okay. You don't have to write this whole thing out 10 times. I suggest with condensing you do, because every time you're writing less than every time you're writing more, so it feels a little bit better. Just be careful. Condensing is where most people make some mistakes. Expanding's a little bit easier, but condensing kind of like screws with your mind. Because we usually like, I don't know, it's just weird. So now what's next? Oh, this was a plus.
Wait, is
Oops.
8 an exponent then?
No, 8 is not an exponent. Why not?
Is 2 an exponent?
Good question. Who wants to answer it? Yeah, go ahead.
2 is out in front of a log, and 8 was already behind.
That's a great question. I saw a lot of that mistake going around. So I'm so glad you asked that question. So although 8 is a number, it's not out in front of my log. I also had some questions as to like, well, do we multiply the 8 times the 2? That's why we do exponents first, so that we don't start mistaking what we're multiplying together. So now, let's do parentheses first, right? So in this parentheses, I have my addition. Addition turns into,
Multiplication.
good. What specifically am I going to multiply?
8 and x.
Very good. Leaving me with log base 7 of 8x squared. Questions? Sweet, and this is still subtracting log base 7 of 5. So you could put a parentheses, that's okay. If you had parentheses around this, that's still okay. They'll kind of fall apart in the end, but it's all right. Subtraction turns into,
Multiplication.
good,
So you turn into a fraction, right?
very good. So what's gonna go on top of my fraction?
It
You guys are rocking it, bottom.
5.
Very good. How many of you got that answer? Or like almost that right answer? You guys are rocking it.
So I'm not, how many, like 10% out
No, you are not. We're gonna do a lot more practice with this. So keep in mind, we have the rest of this week and we have one more section left. So 3 more days to finish one more section. Whatever we don't get done with that section, that's on me. It's not on you. I'm not gonna like shove it in your face. We'll get through this chapter, what we get through. If this is your last math class, fantastic. If it's not, we'll go over all of this stuff again in pre-calc. Like this comes back up again in pre-calc. So if you're a sophomore, you'll see it again next year. But we will get through what we can get through this. I'm not gonna shove it down your throat. We'll make sure that you're ready for that test, for sure.
I've been happy about math.
What's that?
It's like the first time I've been like happy about math, like is in your class. Like,
Is
just,
there
like,
Good, that warms my heart.
Is there still gonna be summer school?